So the Inclusive Growth Commission is going to be quite explicitly following in the footsteps of the City Growth Commission that was chaired by Lord Jim O'Neill. And I think what that did was sort of change the way we think about economic policy and regional policy in the UK, with a much more devolved approach to thinking about sort of place-based policy making, with wanting to encourage faster growth. I think what we're trying to do is broaden and deepen that vision, which has already had such a big impact.
The City Growth Commission that I fortunately chaired had quite an influence on economic policy in the UK. And it's the early days of it. It was only a commission for a year. So focusing on some of the issues that we didn't answer, and how you make sure more people benefit from urban-based growth is a fundamental thing to the future of the country. My own specific advice in the discussion we've had this morning is that they should define clearly as soon as they can, as I think we did, what exactly and what part of the issues on inclusive growth they're going to try and tackle, because it can be quite an emotive subject. And depending on how they succeed with that, we as government will be very interested in what they had to say.
So inclusive growth matters because if we know now that where you have entrenched inequalities, inequality of opportunity, inequality of life chances, that can affect not just obviously the quality of your society and the sort of happiness and life expectancy of populations, but also the actual performance of the economy, the rate of growth. So that's why we want to have this social and economic agenda come together in this report.
Well, certainly as far as I'm concerned, others might disagree, I think I'd see inclusive growth as ensuring that the economic growth in a city, it could be in a country, but in this case in the city, as it were, works not only for those who are most easily able to get the best jobs and do all the things that produce economic activity, but that everybody in the area sees the benefit of it because there are new jobs created that they can do, and that there are links created, and this is a role for government, between the prosperity of an area and those who have traditionally found it hard to benefit from the changing economy, or for their own personal circumstances have been left behind. And the government can create those linkages.
I think for me, one of the great, if people say that this commission was useful in certain areas, actually helping answer questions which people in government, either at the local level or at the central government level, were needing answers to, but didn't have the time or the resources to do it, then I will feel like we've made the right kind of contribution. I don't want this to be a treatise on inequality and growth. I think we want to use the data we know exists on this, and we want to be completely cognizant of those inequalities. But for me, the primary contribution should be in giving intensely practical solutions to people who, right on the ground now, are trying to implement this place-based vision.